Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Christy Wilbert, your Senior Vice President of the Medicare Offerings team here at URL Insurance Group. It is a very dreary day today, so I apologize for my lighting. I usually open my windows and let the sun in, but there is no sun today. I hope it's sunny where you are. Today, our topic is going to be marketing with community events. This is probably one of the top 5 ways to get prospects in the Medicare business. So if you're not doing it, it's something very simple and easy to do, very cheap way of marketing most of the time. It really just costs your time and sometimes a small vendor fee, but really efficient use of your time. So this is going to be a really quick and easy webinar this morning. I just want to educate you a little bit on community events and how to find them so that you have easier access to do it yourself. So just to get started, I want to provide some examples of community events, what I'm talking about here. So fairs and festivals, every town, every city has them. They often attract a big group of people, large crowds, great opportunity. You can set up a booth, you can distribute materials and engage with a lot of attendees. So those are huge. Charity runs and walks. You can work a table, you can sponsor, you can actually run in the runner walk and wear a t-shirt representing your agency. Local sporting events like high school football games or like little league tournaments, things where it's attracting a lot of people to one place. Farmers markets, you could do educational workshops, and not just on Medicare topics, but things that seniors need to know a little bit more about. We had an agency that did like iPad training or, financial planning, home safety, anything that would draw their attention for educational purposes. Sign up for a community cleanup day. We have a local park here, George Park. You can sign up to help fix all the things that are broken at the park. And they shut down the park for the day, and a lot of volunteers come out, and it's a good networking opportunity. Holiday parades and festivals. There's one for every holiday here in Harrisburg. Those are good opportunities. Health and wellness expos. I think Senior Expo is something we always go to and think about, but health and wellness ones are great also. They have home and garden shows. We're really close to the farm center here, farm show complex, and they have a lot of events all year round that people could participate in. So find something like that in your local community where they're always having events like that or being creative to host a lot of people. Job fairs are a great one. That's something that we at URL are trying to get more involved with to help our agent partners bring in new and excited people in the industry and help place people in your agencies, get them trained. So those are great opportunities. School fundraisers, they're always doing them. I know here at our office, there's at least 5 sign-up sheets in the lunchroom for kids selling things, but they sometimes will do things in the gym where everybody gets together and, builds lunches or backpacks or something for back to school, so you can get involved in that. Local food drives, volunteer to do a food drive and just demonstrate to your community that you understand and provide. Those are always big key things. And then there's conferences. There's conferences that are happening all the time, maybe about technology and innovation locally. Go network, meet new people. You'll meet people in the industry. And, this industry is all about building relationships with other professionals. And that's the way that you can refer business back and forth and really build your community around you. And always these community events are so important for brand visibility. My dad used to always say he was an agent that you don't make any money sitting behind the desk. Now, if you're having appointments, that's a different story. But if you're just sitting there hoping for the phone to ring, that's not a good, efficient use of your time. You want to get out there, build your brand, show your face, be a part of the community is so important for networking and for your clients to see that. So All right, so question number one, after you know what type of thing you're looking for, how do you find these things in your local community? So we all heard about, the Walmart opportunity in the past. It became extremely expensive for an agent to participate. I think it got the whole way up to $1,500 for the AEP. Was it worth it? Of course. But you have to be that type of person that can sit behind a table at the Walmart and engage with others. If you are not an engagement type of agent, I would highly recommend that community events is not for you. If you are an extrovert or you can turn that part of you on, I think community events is a great way for you to get out there and meet people and network and get prospects and leads. I just want to be clear about that. So making partnerships with healthcare providers and pharmacies, like the CVS opportunity that Aetna did before, that is something that you can do on your own with any pharmacy. It doesn't have to be CVS. It doesn't have to be Walmart. And know that nurturing those relationships are really important. If you think you're going to go into a doctor's office and start to get referrals off your first visit, chances are that's a no. You're going to have to work at it and show that, your value that you're bringing to that healthcare provider. Online event listings. So we have things, if you're unaware, that you can purchase tickets on Eventbrite, Meetup. Those are online websites where they will list community events that are going on and you can purchase tickets for it, like wine festivals, or I don't know, that's just an example, but go on, check that out. You can find a lot of local events there. Networking with other agents, of course. You can join a professional organization. They have here, LaTip is a huge one. They usually only put on like one person from each industry in the referral group, which is really nice. Local newspaper and magazines. You want to check out the community section in those. Volunteer for local charities. Even if it is not going to get you leads, it'll, again, help you build relationships with like-minded individuals. Hopefully they're professionals, and you can end up creating that networking environment for yourself. Utilize Facebook media. You can go to the events page on your Facebook platform, for example, and it'll tell you everything that's going on locally in your area, and see how you can participate in those things. Chamber of Commerce, that's a great one to become a member, join, be a very active member. They hold a lot of events that you can sponsor and attend. Great exposure. Visit local community centers, YMCA. Here we have the Friendship Center. You can find great resources there, and they hold a lot of events as well. Okay, so the other thing I want to say is sign up for all of or subscribe for all of your local newsletters that come out. You want to get on like your local township, your local city, so they'll email you things that are going on as well. So after you've found your events, how do you set up for success at these events? Usually you're going to be working a table, right? So you want to make sure that you have an open and inviting layout. Too much clutter, is confusing. You want to make sure they understand your theme, right? They don't want to be walking up to the table confused about what you're going to be talking about with them. You want to have interactive elements, so maybe touchscreens, demos, a spinning wheel to win a prize. You can give out free coffee, free water. The ones that people have a line at are they're giving away something for free, right? A hot dog, you can get hot dog spinners super cheap. I saw one at our local George Park. I'll mention again, they do one with the firefighters and police and a bunch of vendors. And there's one that brings in snow cones every year just with a big machine, and they're a hit, of course. So try to think of something cheap that you can do like that and just hand out, because you're going to get engagement at your table. Clear signage and branding, eye-catching, convey your message quickly. I'm not saying you have to have a huge banner stand. I feel like those are overplayed out and clunky to carry around, but you should have something at your table explaining from a distance what you're going to be talking about there with them. Comfortable seating. Seniors like to sit down. So I'm not saying behind the table, I'm saying either beside or in front. Have a place that you can sit and engage with a person for a few minutes if they have the time. Chances are they'll want to take that break and sit down and talk with you. Multimedia displays. Videos are great if you can play something on a loop, if you bring your laptop. People like to watch that. And if you're talking to somebody else, they can be entertained by that video. Giveaways and contests. Offer branded giveaways. So we want your brand, your name on all your materials. Can you file a list for a sales event? Absolutely. Can you get free stuff from the carriers with their name on it? Absolutely. I think those things are good to have, but at the end of the day, you're not selling the carrier, you're selling yourself. So I see a lot of value in having your personal branded items. Things that do really well are like pill packs, Band-Aid packs, hand sanitizer is always good. I think we're all become more mindful of how clean our hands are throughout the day after COVID. And it's something we have continued good habits with. So those are always really good. Knowledgeable staff. So if you're not going to be working the table, make sure that the downline agent or your partner that's working the table is very knowledgeable. Because if people are going to ask questions and we don't know answers to them, it's not a very good use of anybody's time. And have a follow-up mechanism. It's so important, the follow-up. The follow-up is everything, right? Because you can't sell the policy that day, especially if you're just being a vendor and you're not applying for a sales event for CMS. So you need to have a way of contacting them later. And how are you going to follow up with them? Making the most of your event. Okay. So this is again how important follow-up is, but connect with potential clients, craft your pitch, be ready, have a 1 minute. And I mean 1 minute. I don't mean 2 or 3, 1 minute elevator speech that you can say to a person to grab their attention, okay? Maybe it's a question, but that's something that you need to think about going into it. This is not, it's going to be a waste if you don't put the thought and effort into it before you get there, right? Even if it's not a busy a day and maybe the event is a bust, it's super important to talk to the other vendors around you. Again, network with other professionals. Take that opportunity to get to know everybody. How can they help you? You don't know until you ask, right? Define clear goals. So prior to, set goals. How many people do you want to talk to at that event and hold yourself accountable to that? How many appointments do you want to set? Get their contact information for follow-up. So important. Research the event beforehand. Understand who your audience is going to be. Maybe that helps you with what giveaway you're going to give. And don't always focus on the senior market. Remember I said about the snow cones, the grandparents are walking up with the kids. So it doesn't have to be something that is directed at the seniors, but maybe by natural, they come to you because of who they're with based off who's attending the event. Bring tailored materials, so offer value and be memorable. How to follow up. These are just some ideas since follow-up is so important. You can have a digital sign-up form. QR codes are huge these days and super easy to create. If you need help, we can show you how to do that. So can ChatGPT if you are good at using ChatGPT. Have a business card drop for a prize. Follow up with leads very quickly. It should be the next day or the following day after that. If you wait 3 days, you've waited too long, in my opinion. Post event to social media with photos. Anything and everything that you're doing out in the community should be advertised. I know it seems narcissistic, but this is how you're building your brand. You're touching people because what you choose as a human to participate and volunteer with will touch another human, right? If it means something to you, it might mean something to somebody else. So just be your authentic self, participate in what makes you happy, and I think naturally good things will follow after that. Create a campaign to continue consistent touches. So if you have a CRM or some kind of email marketing system, you should be placing these individuals in that CRM. And maybe every quarter you're sending a newsletter, or every marketing email that you send to your clients from now on, they're in there so that you can continue engagement. The thing about Medicare leads is when you're touching people, it often is way before they're ready to be on Medicare, right? They might be 62 or they might be 64. If you get a lead back, they're probably 64, right? And you're peppering them for a year, sometimes even longer, before they're ready to enroll. But the important thing is that when they're ready to enroll, they're remembering you and they're thinking of you. That's the hardest thing about getting started in Medicare, is that it's not quick sales like final expense. You don't, write the policy right there and get paid on it in the same week. However, it's the long game. And if you give it a year or 2 years, I promise you it is worth it, because everything starts to write after that, right? All of your prospects become clients, and your clients are then sending you referrals, and it just continues to build and build that way if you're putting in this type of effort to do community events. So I really hope that was helpful for you today and just gave you a couple tips that you can take with you and that you learned. If you would like to learn more about marketing and all the carriers' new plans that are going to be coming for 2026, we are hosting a Medicare Connections Conference again this year. It'll be September 3rd at the Hershey Lodge, and we'll have all our carriers there doing their benefits. We have a keynote speaker, Shauna Thorson, who's going to go over Facebook marketing. We have had her on a webinar as a guest speaker, but she'll be our keynote there at the conference. And all the departments here at URL will be there to see you and mingle with you and network. So I look forward to that event every year. It's a great event. We usually get about 300 to 350 people, so quite a large event. All right, do we have any questions here? Let me see. I am an independent broker contract in multiple carriers. Should I choose a carrier to lead with? You can. You can mark it as a sales event and pick a carrier, and you can have books there and take applications and all of that. I haven't seen that be super successful in the past. I think it's better to go you forward always, because especially since you represent a lot of carriers, does a popular brand name attract people to your table to ask questions? Absolutely. So there's pros and cons to doing it both ways. Neither is wrong. Do whatever you feel. Maybe try one way and in the next event, try it the other way and see which you like better professionally. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. I hope you have a good day. Thanks for joining me.